So today we're going to look at the things that most people tend to kind of forget, which is their guidance star, their character, and the reason why they do certain things in business. Because usually when we start businesses, all we think about is the money that we're going to make. We don't even think about the customers. We just think about the money that we're going to make. And those three things that we're going to look at would be the mission, the vision, and values. I would also talk about goals because, again, that's what it's about. At the end of the day, what you're trying to achieve will be your goals, but then what drives you, what do you see, and how you're going to do that, and ultimately what kind of mentality you're going to take or adopt in order for you to be able to then achieve that, right? So that's what we're going to focus on today. Now, again, it's going to be an interactive session. So I would ask that you take some notes because I will dive in and out of the presentation to ask you questions and then see where you are with it. So welcome once again. My name is Josiah. I'm a business development and a consultant. Pretty much anything to do with entrepreneurship. I'm happy to engage entrepreneurs. I also do coaching. And I guess I love music and the kind of music that I like. I think you young ones don't listen to that anymore, but it's all well and good. But yeah, so it's a pleasure to be here and looking forward to engaging everybody today. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. Hold on a second. Yes. So great. And I hope you can all see my screen right now. So as you can see, the vision and values. Those key elements of businesses is one of those things that you have to define when you start off a business. And today we're going to look at them and how we go about defining them. So the overview here will just literally tell you what the overview would be. The vision, the mission, the values, the goals, and the roadmap, and then we'll have a summary. The roadmap is going to be a little bit of an exercise that we're going to partake in. So again, if you have a pen and paper handy, is great because I'm going to ask you questions. So please take a pen and paper handy. I think my village people are playing today. They jumped all the way to the end. So let's see. So the idea would be, hopefully after the session, you'll be able to understand what the vision, the mission, the values, and the goals are and why they're important for business. So a basic overview here is that a clear and well-defined vision, mission, and values. And in this presentation, I might refer to them as a VMV. So that's a mission, it's a vision, mission, and values framework. It's essential for your business because when you're building a purpose-driven business and sustainable businesses, you need to have these key elements, right? And, you know, these elements, they help you by providing the strategic direction that your business needs to go in. They shape the company culture and then also guide any decision-making that you need to kind of embark on. So that's the, you know, it tells you how important this is. But most of the time, we tend to kind of overlook it. People just brush it over and then think that, okay, I don't have to worry about it. But these elements guide the decisions that you make. It will shape your company culture, and it helps your strategic decisions that you need to make, right? So first off, we ask ourselves the vision. Now, the vision, anytime we think about a vision, you're literally asking yourself this question, where are we going, right? It's literally, that's it, like literally, where do you want to go? And that's where you see your business. So the question that you're asking yourself over and over and over and over is, where do we want to go as a business? Where do we want to go? And so a vision statement is a future oriented. It's like really embedded in the future. And it's part of your long-term aspirations that you want to have. So ultimately the impact that you want to see. So this will serve as an inspiration, a guide that outlines where your organization aims to be in the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. So this is why it's important, because when you're building a business as yourself, or you're building a business for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or you're building a business for the next 10, 15, 20 years, right? A strong vision statement should be clear, very ambitious, right? It motivates by providing the direction that you need to go in, and then it helps you with your strategic decision making that you embarking on. But then what you also have to think about is it has to align with your stakeholders' goals, right? So the stakeholders being here are the people that are vested in the business. So that could be your customers, your partners, your competitors also play a role in this. So basically the whole thing is, does it align with those stakeholders and you have a shared goal? And again, why are you in business is because you want to provide a solution for, I would say, a demographic of people, right? So I'm just giving you an example by using Tesla. It's that they want to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century by driving the world's transition to electronic vehicles, right? So that's their vision. When you think about it, what it is that they're trying to do, they want to move the world into the vehicle space, but they want to be the car company of the 21st century. So that's ambitious, that's bold, that's way out there in the future. So that's where your vision has to be. It has to be way out there in the future. I think my slides are really jumpy today, so sorry about that. Now, when you think about the vision statement, there are certain things that goes with the vision statement, right? So again, like I said before, it has to be future focused. And again, by future focus, it describes what success will look like in the long term. So when the long term is in the next 5, 10 to 15 years, what would it look like? It has to be inspirational because you needed to motivate your employees, your customers, and your stakeholders, right? And I've already explained what the stakeholders are. So in this case, it could be your investors, government, and any other person that is invested in your success, so to speak. It has to be clear and concise. So it has to be easily understood and memorable, okay? And it has to be ambitious and bold, encourages growth and innovation. Purpose-driven, again, reflects the organization's deeper purpose beyond profits. And let me emphasize on that. It's purpose-driven because it's going to reflect your organization's deeper purpose beyond just making money. So in a nutshell, a good vision statement aligns with organization's mission, vision, and its goals, stating a clear destination for its journey. So where we're going to go, that's what your vision statement aims to do. Like literally, where we are trying to go is where it's going to take us. It's in the long term, what success will look like. Then we come to the mission. What do you do and for whom, right? And this is where, again, when you're doing business, the customer segment makes sense. So you need to identify who you're doing, providing the solution for. So that's what it's saying. So what do we do, right? And then for whom? So the mission statement, again, concise, is literally declaring an organization's what? Purpose, its activities, its target audience. It will describe what the business does, who it's serving, and how it delivers its value. A strong mission statement then will help guide any decision-making that you need to make, aligns with the teams, and this is important, alignment with teams. And then it communicates the business's core purpose to its stakeholders. And using another example, Google, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That's what they're driven by. For them, that is the mission that they're on, to ensure that they're organizing the world's information and then making it accessible and useful. So what are they doing? They're organizing it, right? They're looking at organizing, that's one. What are they trying to organize? Information. Where are they doing it, universally? And then what they're going to do, they're going to make it accessible and useful. So now you see how it has the clear purpose of what do they do and for whom they're doing it for. So that's what the mission literally is. Now, your mission in itself has to be, driven by purpose, clearly defines why your business exists. It has to be action-oriented, so focuses on what the company does on a daily basis, literally. It's customer-centric because, again, they are the people that, or shall I say, they're the reasons why you're in business. So identifies the target audience and how they benefit. Then it's concise and clear, easy to understand and then communicate. Then it differentiates you from your competitors. So highlights what makes your business unique, right? So you have to think about it in that order, that it has to differentiate you because you cannot be the same thing that everybody else is doing. You are definitely different in how in which you go about doing it. So a well-crafted mission statement connects with the organization's vision and its values, serving as a strategic guide for growth and operations. So that's what your mission is for, is serving as a strategic guide for growth and operations. That's why it's important for you to take your time when you're writing them, right? So let me pause and then come back on the screen so that I can ask one or two questions and then see where everybody is. 1 second. So okay, so before I do that, anybody has any questions to ask at the moment? Because I want to make it interactive, so ask the questions, so I'll just pick anybody. I think William, no, Emmanuel, right? Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you. I have a question concerning the vision.
Right.
So you mentioned that the vision, when constructing the vision, it must align with the stakeholders of the organization.
Mhm.
Then you can have multiple stakeholders with different mission statement or vision for, as in what the vision for the individual stakeholders. Now, how would you craft your, as an organization, your vision statement to align with each stakeholder?
That's an excellent question. And the way you approach it is, I'm always going to ask, what is your core stakeholder, right? Who is your core stakeholder at the end of the day? And that's the one that you on the most, your core. See, so I always break most of my stakeholders, I break it down into a 60-40, sorry, like you can do it in a way that is like 100%, right? So you can break it down to 50-30-20. So the 50% core element of your stakeholder is the one that your vision and your mission statement is driven towards them, really. This is the reason why sometimes you get a situation where political parties tend to focus on their party members more so than the nation that elected them, right? Because in their mind, they focus more so on their core audience. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Right? But then as a company on a general level, this is where you probably say we, as a company, we see ourselves being the number one, blah, 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 of X in Ghana, for example. So then that also captures the location of almost all your demographics, so to speak. But you tend to focus on the demographic or the stakeholder that brings you the most money. They're the reason why you're in business, so to speak. It's not fair, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And thank you for that question. And I hope that answered that question.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Thank you. I know Belinda just joined a little bit, so I'm not going to put her on the spot. Let me put Juliet on the spot. Juliet, what have you learned so far, and what do you want to ask or discuss? You see, Juliet. Yeah, Juliet, you can unmute. And whilst I wait for that, let me see. Edgar. Edgar, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Very well, sir. You too.
Yeah, I'm well. So what are your thoughts so far?
Okay, so my question I want to ask is, does the mission and vision, does it have to relate?
Yeah, 100%. Because one is what you see for yourself, and one is what you're actually going to. So as you can see, my light just went off. ECG are doing their thing. So there you go. And I'll put the video off, so otherwise we look like a caricature in the background, right? So so yeah, so basically it has to match in terms of, this is what I see for myself or my company to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so it has to match. So one is the purpose, you're driven by the purpose, and the other is the action that you're going to take. So it has to match. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
And Edwin, okay, that it answered your question, right?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Great. Okay. So I will leave Evans, because Julia ran away. So I'll leave Evans, Claudia, and then Belinda for the next session of questions. So let me go back to sharing the screen again. Okay. So one of the key things that people tend to forget, values, because once you run in a business, even though it's a non-living thing, but you've got living individuals or beings in that building working for that building. So it's almost like you trying to build a culture and the oneness. So values play a key role in that. And that's where it says what principles guide your business, right? So values are core principles and beliefs that guide an organization's culture, decision-making, and operation, right? And one, if you look at it carefully, there's one key word that keep popping up in all the three: decision-making, 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 right? See, so your vision also helps in your decision-making. Your mission helps in your decision-making. And then your values also help in your decision-making, right? And the values then helps you define how a business will conduct itself. It will interact with its stakeholders, and it will be able to then uphold its mission. Your values will shape the company's identity. It would influence its employees' behavior and then build trust with its customers. So when you look at Amazon, for example, their values is being customer obsession, like they're really obsessed about their customers. They pride themselves on ownership, they pride themselves on innovation, and they pride themselves on long-term thinking, right? See, so as it stands, your values is like literally what you stand for as a business. What wouldn't you like fold on? What wouldn't you like stand, like anything that happens to you, this is what you stand for. These are my values. I won't change that for anybody. So your business, if it's customer obsession, what does that mean? That literally you're obsessed with your customers. That seeps itself into how you serve your customers. Because if you're obsessed with your customers, that means that you look for ways to do what? Support them. You look for ways to ensure that everything that they need, they get it. Everything that you build is around them. It's customer centric because you're obsessed with them. You're looking for ways in which everything that you do is involving the customer. In this case, if Amazon says ownership meaning what? That you own how you interact with us on our page, how you order stuff on our page. We don't get in the way. It's your page, it's your profile. You order things as and how you want it. You do the search and as and how you want it. We give the power to you, right? And then in the innovation, they innovate by the technology and stuff that they're going to use to ensure that it makes it easier for people to then place the orders. They innovate in terms of the time that they're going to take your orders for you to pay for things to be delivered. So they're looking at ways for them to grow at every single point. That's what they see innovation as. And the long-term thinking, again, by being customer obsessed, they think about the customer in the long term. So they might get somebody that, from the age of 18, then they think, in the long term, we need to have this person until maybe they are 75. So we need to plan and provide them with services that will last that long. So your values would be that. What are your values? Things that you stand for, things that you will not compromise on at all. Those are your values, okay? So what defines those values? It has to be authentic. It has to be rooted in your company's actual culture and belief, things that your company actually believe in. It's not something that you say for the sake of saying it, but you actually believe in it, right? It's actionable because it's a daily guide to decision-making and your behavior, right? It's consistent because it remains stable over time and across all aspects of your business. It's clear, it's concise, it's easy for your employees and customers to do what? To understand. It differentiates you too. Again, it helps define what makes your company unique, okay? Then it says that a strong value system, ensures that your company says and does what, things that is aligned with everything that they build. And so they build in a business that is ethical, a business that's sustainable, right? So everything is alignment. So it does what it says it does, and it's aligned in all its decision-making, and again, in building a sustainable business. And that's how you have to look at your values, is things that you stand for. It's your belief system and your, actual company, I would say believes. What does your company believe? And that's what your values are. It's things that you will not compromise on at all for anybody, okay? And when we do the exercises, I want to hear some of your values. And in that, we would have that conversation around values. And then you will look at values. And remember, values are not a thing of, let's say, good and evil, good versus evil. It's just what you stand for, right? See, so one value system might be good for another company, but it might be totally opposite and bad for another company. See, so it's not the same. Values are only specific to the group itself or to the company itself. It's not generic for all companies at all. Every company has its own values. Every company has its own belief system. Every company has its own culture. So then it will come naturally to looking at goals, right? Now you can do all of these things. You can have your mission, you can have your vision, you can have your values. But if you don't have a goal as a business, then what is the point in us doing what it is that we're doing, right? So the goals here is then saying that how will you achieve your mission and your vision? Because the goals would help you achieve your mission and your vision, right? And the goal will pretty much would act to bridge between your vision, your mission, and then your execution, right? Your business goals must be strategic. It has to be measurable and action-oriented, right? It has to be action-oriented. And this roadmap then provides a step-by-step process for then drafting your business goals that will align with your vision and mission, whilst ensuring that, you know, everything else is practical when you're implementing it. So a typical example would be to increase online customer engagement by 20% in the next 6 months by launching a content marketing campaign, right? So that you see that everything here is measurable. Everything here is actionable. How are you going to measure? Because it's telling you to increase online customer engagement. Increase meaning there's a starting point, right? You starting from somewhere and then you trying to then increase it. So then in this way, you can measure it, okay? And by what is 20%? And when? In 6 months. By doing what? By launching a content marketing campaign. So in this case, it's clear. This is what we're doing. We intend to increase our engagement by 20% in the next 6 months by launching a content marketing campaign. That's what we're doing. That's our goal. Our goal is to increase our engagement by 20% in 6 months. It's clear by doing X, you know, Y, and Z. That's what it is that we're going to do, okay? Now, typical roadmap for doing this is make sure that your goals are aligned with your vision and mission. It always has to. Why? Because it ensures that every goal supports the company's long-term direction and purpose. Every goal has to do that. And then use a smart work framework. So then again, like I said before, make sure that it's, it's smart. So smart being, specific, measurable, accurate, it's realistic and it's time bound. And so in this case, why? It would help you define your goals that are clear, are achievable, and then trackable, because you have to be able to track them. So all your goals has to be smart. It has to be specific. What are you trying to achieve? And then how are you going to measure it? So you can measure it. So if it's in numbers, increase this by 10%, increase this by 20%, or reduce this by 10%. And then it has to be accurate, right? Something that is accurate. It has to be realistic. So if you're going to increase something by 10%, that is realistic. But if you say increase it by 150%, that is not realistic. And it has to be time bound, because we need to know when are we able to then measure whether we are successful or not, right? And then it helps you to put your business goals in categories, right? And the whole idea here is, why would I do that? It helps make sure you, make a priority in different aspects of your business to balance the growth that you're going through in your business. Mapping out your goals would help you assign responsibilities and resources. Why? It ensures accountability and allocation of necessary resources. Because if you have a goal and you know you're going to achieve A, B, C, and D over this period of time by doing X, you need to then align that with your responsibility. What are you going to do? Who is responsible for what? Who is responsible for achieving this particular thing? And then the resources that are needed to do that. So in essence, your goal would match your resources. So the resources that you have has to then ensure that you can achieve your goal. So there's no point in saying, I want to launch a business and my goal is to be, in the UK, in Europe, and then in the US in the next 6 months. What resources you have? You don't even have marketing budget for any of these, markets that you want to go in, or you don't even have anybody to call in the US for them to even look at your product, or you don't even have anybody that you can send to go and do marketing. You don't have resources, you don't have staff, you don't have anything. So how are you going to achieve your goal? So those are the things that you have to think about. Resources are key in achieving goals. So without having proper resources, it kind of makes it harder for you to then achieve whatever goal that you want to achieve. Now, with that said, we are going to do an activity, right? And this activity, again, is going to be something that you would have to write down, and then I will call you. Then you tell me what it is, what you're working, what vision, what have you got written down, what mission have you got written down, or values that you have, right? Usually I always say that it's great to have 3 minimum values as a company. For me, 4 is too much, 5 is just way out. But then if you have 3 at a basic level, that's like minimum, that works. That is great. We can have 3 that works, and that's great. So we're going to do this particular exercise that we're going to do. And I'm going to use some of these questions to then ask you those questions, right? So let's start off with our vision. I hope you got your pen and paper, because I'm going to call you. So please have your pen and paper ready for this. When it comes to your mission, when it comes to your vision, here's how to approach it. Ask yourself, what is the impact of the company you want to leave behind? At the end of the day, once your business is created and all is said and done, what is the impact that your company want to leave behind, right? What is the culture that you want to play out in your employees' lives, literally? What you want to see? That's your vision. What you want to see. How do you want people to remember you when they think about your business in the next, 10, 20 years? What do you think the vision is supposed to be? So I'll give you 2 minutes to write that, and then I'll come back into it. Okay, 30 seconds. Ten seconds. Great. So I hope you've written that down. Let's go to the mission. Again, mission is asking you, what is your company doing today? What are you doing today? What are you doing, and why are you doing it, and who are you doing it for? Think about who you're doing it for, and how does that contribute to the greater good, okay? So what is your company doing today? Why are you doing it? And who are you doing it for? Why does it contribute? How does it contribute to the greater good? Again, I give you 2 minutes to think about that. Forty-five seconds. 15 seconds. Okay, so let me stop sharing and come back to the screen, and then we can have a conversation about that. So, without feeling like I put you on the spot, who wants to be the first person to share what they've written as a potential vision for their business? Or you want me to just call people? Okay, so I'll call Belinda.
Okay. My vision is For us to be the leading grocery delivery business in Ghana, a trusted one, transforming the way people shop for their groceries. And to have branches in every part of the country.
Okay. Over what period of time? Like in the next 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years?
In the next 5 years.
Okay, excellent. Well done. We will work on it to refine it so that you'll be able to just say it just straight away, and it becomes almost like a 2-sentence thing, and that's it. But you've got all the elements here. We will just need to put it together. Does that make sense?
Yes, please.
Well done. Evans, what do you have for me? What do you have as a mission? Okay, I think Evans is quiet. So Edgar, naturally, I will just pick you because EE, so it's just easy to do that. Edgar, you there?
Okay, I'm here. So
Yeah.
my mission is to celebrate Black people all over the world in the food industry in the next 10 years.
Right. So it's interesting you said that, right? That is a vision. That is almost speaking as a vision.
Okay.
Right? See, so what you need to do is, okay, let me see what your vision sounds like, and then I will tell you how to play it into becoming a mission. Tell me what your vision is.
Okay, so my vision is celebrating the bold flavors of the bold flavored and stories of Africa, inspiring a global community.
Right. So you see, you've got it almost like the other way around. Right? Because the first one, what did you say you were going to do?
The first one is to celebrate Black people all over the world, the food industry.
Okay, that's still something that's actionable, right? Then the next one was what?
Which one?
The vision. What you have for vision says what?
Yeah. So the vision is celebrating the flavor, the bold flavors and stories of Africa.
Right. In this case, that is also actionable, right?
Right.
What does your company want to see itself as in the next 10 years? So the number one food brand that celebrates African food or blah 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 across the continent of Africa in the next 10 years.
Okay.
It's what you see yourself as, right?
Yeah.
So it's purpose, it's like you're purposely driven. It's what you see yourself as. Now, when you come to the mission, this is where you say by providing or by celebrating African food or blah, 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 blah. So that becomes the action. So the only way you can actualize your vision is by doing your mission. Because if you don't do your mission, your vision will not come to pass.
Okay. It makes sense.
You see what I mean? See, so this is where you see yourself, your company doing this person over this continent over this period of time. Right? It's specific. We want to be the number one food platform across Africa in the next 10 years, right?
Yes.
We're going to do this by celebrating, authentic African food cooked by local chefs, blah, 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 blah. That is your mission.
Right.
See, so when you do that, you then achieve the bigger vision that you want to achieve.
Okay.
Work?
Okay, I get it now. It works. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And Julia? You escaped me before. Let me see if you try and escape again. Are you there? I like the way Juliet always chooses silence. And Evans, let me go to the other E, Emmanuel. What do you have as your vision and mission?
Okay, so for my vision, it goes like this: to become Africa's top-notch organization in entrepreneurship for empowering student-led entrepreneurs across the continent in the next 10 years. Should I come again?
No, that's very bold. That's very bold. So what would your mission be?
Okay, so I have the mission here to be, our mission is to provide the support, resources, and opportunities needed by students, entrepreneurs to transform innovative ideas into successful ventures.
Right. So that's excellent. So you see how by providing these support and everything else, you then become that umbrella body that supports all student entrepreneurs across the continent, right? But you set yourself that bold statement that you're going to do it over the next 10 years or so.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Cool. So let me go to the values again. Hold on, so that we can set our values. So now we're on goals. Write down, what does your company want to achieve? Write three things that your company wants to achieve. So goals, what does your company want to achieve? Three things. I just need you to write three things that your company wants to achieve. Let me make it a little bit harder. 5 things that your company wants to achieve. Give me 5 things that your company wants to achieve. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. Forty-five seconds. Fifteen seconds. Okay, so now you have your goals. So now you have 5 goals. Break it into 2 for me. 3 short-term, those goals that you looked at, separate it. Let 3 of them be short-term and 2 of them be long-term. So looking at the goals that you have, which 2 are long-term and which 3 will be short-term? Two minutes. Thirty seconds. 10 seconds. Great. Now, this is one of the most difficult ones. Values. What does your company stand for? Right? What is the core at the very heart of your company? What do you stand for? Give me 3 values that your company stands for. So in the same way, you look at it in terms of what defines us, what character defines you, what behavior defines you, what thought process defines you. And usually it's just one word, one word, one word. Because like when I say, if I mention a lion, for example, what would you say? Royal or royalty or strength and all of those other things. You know, family, those are the values of a lion, right? So family and all the group mentality, they have that. So what does your company stand for? What defines your company? Two minutes. Forty-five seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, let me stop sharing, come back to the screen. Today is very interactive work, just, you know, to make sure that we all get it. So we're very interactive today. So let me start with Belinda again. What are some of your goals? Give me the goals that you had. What are some of your business goals?
Okay, for us, the obvious goal, the first one would be customer acquisition and retention, because we are the ideation state, so we are not started. So definitely, our first goal would be for customer acquisition, to retain them. And then the second goal would be revenue. Yeah, our revenue should grow. And then our third goal would be customer satisfaction. And then our operation should be efficient. And then we should be able to expand, market expansion. Yes.
Okay. Now, you see the goals that you have. When you say customer acquisition and their retention, right? Remember I said goals should be specific, measurable, accurate, realistic, and time-bound, right?
Yes.
So in this case, we need to put numbers to them. When you say customer acquisition, how many customers you want to acquire over what period of time?
Okay, within a week, we should have a target of getting 2 customers a week. That should be the least, and then the maximum should be 3.
Okay, so let's work with 3 a week. So that literally gives us about 12 customers every month, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, 12 customers a month. Now, then we'll ask you, or I'll ask you, what is the retention percentage that you want to have?
90%.
90%. Okay.
Yes.
Is it a month or annually?
A month.
A month.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So in this case, and you know what, I would work with you back door, so don't worry, it's fine. So remember this numbers that you just gave me, because when I work with you back door, we will drill into it. Because it's your personal business, I don't want to drill everything in on live as we talk, right? And then
Okay.
we talked about expansion, for example. Again, expansion in terms of location, in terms of size, what?
It's in terms of location.
Right. See, so then in this case, you need to be specific. You need to expand to 4 or 5 different locations, and preferably you would name those locations.
Yes, please.
Right? See, so you want to expand into, let's say, the central region in the next 6 months. See how specific that is. So even to the central region, I would ask you where in the central region, because Kaswa is the central region.
Okay.
So where in the central region or anywhere, or Bojuasi, or wherever the case may be, all of these places are, central region. So again, I would ask you, be specific with it and tell me exactly where, by how much, and then when. See, so you want to expand by 4 different locations, or you want to expand your market reach by 20%, but in the next 6 months, or expand by going to 4 different locations, or expand into going to the central region in the next 3 months. Is direct, is specific, is measurable, because we know it's central region, we know it's 3 months, and then if we are able to move from Accra to Kaswa, and we know that Kaswa is the central region that we're looking at, we're able to measure it.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Let me think. Edgar.
Yes, sir.
Yes, goals-wise, which you have?
Goal-wise, okay, so I would want to have a food studio in the next 3 years. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and then in the next 10 years, I would love to have a technology company.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. What has this technology company got to do with the food store or the food studio?
Okay, so when it comes to technology, to be more of mobile applications and stuff like that.
Right. But what has that got to do with your food studio? What has that got to do with your business right now?
Okay, all right. So there are events that I'll be doing that needs that I've kind of like, it's something I cannot really explain to you, but it's hard to explain. But what I would say is the technology will be producing like mobile applications for deliveries and stuff like that. Yeah.
You see, so this is what I said, it has to be specific. So then in the next 10 years, you will probably say that you will develop a food aggregator app or platform, something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because then we know it's aligned with your business. Because the moment you said a technology company, for me, Facebook is a technology company, right? Google is a
Right.
technology. Uber is a technology company because they have a technology that they're using to do their business. So the moment you say that, my mind goes to that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you have to be specific and say you're going to develop a food technology company that creates a mobile app for aggregation or whatever the case may be, because in the next 10 years, because it's aligned with your company's and stakeholders.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Right.
I said 5, so you've given me 2 so far. Let's go.
I was only able to come with 2. I was only able to come up with 2.
Like I said, we'll work on the rest. But you see, these are the things. See, so then when it comes to goals, your goals are things that guide you. It's letting you know that this is what you intend to do. So if you achieve this, that means you're on the right track, right? And over a period of time. Hence why I asked the question, long-term and short-term. So Emmanuel, what did you have?
Okay, so I'm not done, but then the ones I have here, I'll just say it. The first one is to organize education and training for 50 student entrepreneurs each month in Ghana. That is one. And then the second is to establish innovation hubs in 5 African countries in the next 10 years. Then the third one is to organize annual festival, to organize flagship annual festivals for celebrating innovation, entrepreneurship, partnership. Yes, and partnership. Yes, that's the third one. And I'm still working on the fourth and fifth.
Okay, so you see where now I'm going to ask you, because I kind of pretty much know which one is which. But in this case, out of the three, which one is the short term, and pick one short term and pick one long term?
Okay, so the short term would be to organize education and training for 50 student entrepreneurs each month in Ghana. And then the long term has to do the other two are for long term because it okay, so the annual festival is for long term because it's going to be done annually.
Right.
Yes.
And then you have something that you want to achieve in 10 years. That is longer.
Okay, which is to establish innovation hubs in 5 African countries in the next 10 years.
Right? That is longer. That makes you stay in business longer.
Okay.
Right? So in this case, this is where your resource allocation will come in, right?
Yes.
You know you need to achieve something in the next 10 years. You're not really going to put yourself under that immense pressure to achieve it because you said in the next 10 years. You're going to set up mechanisms and blocks and systems in place to achieve that. And then when you say African countries, again, I would then ask you, when we were to do it, I will ask you where in Africa, because Africa has, I think, what, 54 countries or so. So then where in Africa? Is it West Africa, Central, East, North, South? Where in Africa? You have to define it. You have to be specific. It has to be time bound. You said the 10 years and all those, but I need you to be specific, because if you say Africa, that don't really mean anything to me in the grand scheme of things, because if I then, let's say, if you leave the company and I come and see a piece of paper that says we want to expand to African countries, 5 African countries in the next 10 years, I could go to Benin, I could go to Togo, I could go to Ivory Coast, right? That's 3. I could go to Burkina and then go to Mali. That's done. But then remember, if you notice, I've gone to all the French-speaking countries, right?
Okay.
Then you come and tell me, oh, but we're an English brand. Well, you said 5 African countries. You didn't tell me whether it's Anglophone or Francophone.
Okay. I get that.
This is why the goal has to be specific, direct. We know that this is what we're trying to do. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So now I like how everybody's been interactive. So I'm going to share the screen again. Hold on. Okay, so then we've been able to kind of work this exercise, right? So here's what there's always a formula, right? There's always a formula to do this. So then basically saying your vision to achieve a goal by doing something unique for a specific audience, right? An example of that would be Nike or Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, right? To bring inspiration, innovation to every athlete in the world. You see how a lot of people wear Nike trainers or sneakers, or they wear Nike jogging bottoms and everything else, but not everybody is an athlete. This answers William Emmanuel's question about the different demographics or different segments. Nike are focusing on athletes. Even though you and I have Nike tops and trainers and everything else, they're not focused on us. They focus on athletes. They are trying to bring inspiration and innovation to every single athlete. That is their core stakeholder. That's their core customer focus. The rest of us, we just like the lifestyle, so then that's cool, but we are not their core focus. Because if we were, they would have said to inspire and to bring inspiration and innovation to every person in the world. But that's not what their core mandate is. Their core mandate is for athletes. So they focus on that specifically. Then we look at mission. Mission is saying, what do we do? For who? Then by how do we do it, right? So then basically saying, we do what for whom, by how. Clearly, this is what we do for this person, and this is how we do it. When we use Google again, it's saying to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So they have a clear idea of what they do is the organization of information. And then for whom? Everyone, right? How? By making it easily accessible, for the whole universe, literally. Then we go to values. Values are principles, definition, actionable behavior, right? Your values, and I'm going to repeat because I haven't mentioned it already, so I'm going to come back to that and ask the questions what your values are. It's going to be a principle in definition, is actionable behavior. That's what your values are. And we use an example, innovation. We, constantly push boundaries by exploring new ideas and solutions to do what? Improve our products and services. This is what they do. They are constantly pushing boundaries by exploring new ideas and solutions to improve their products and services. So remember, I told you to write down 3 values. So I'll come back to the values because then I'll ask you what your values are. So hopefully you've written it, but if you've not, before I come back, write down 3 core values. Okay, I'll come back to that one. So in a summary, we're saying that a strong vision, mission, and values, which is the VMV framework, is the foundation for any successful business, right? Your vision defines the long-term aspirations of your company, where it wants to be in the future. Whereas your mission will, clarify the purpose, your target audience, the value proposition, what the business does today to achieve its vision, okay? Then your values, again, will establish the core principles that guide decision-making, your company culture, and then stakeholder interactions, right? Then it's telling you that by aligning your vision and your mission and your values, your business will then be able to create a clear strategic direction, attract the right employees and customers. In the process, we'll be doing what? Ensuring that every decision supports your larger goal. Again, a well-defined VMV framework is not just a statement. It's a roadmap for sustainable growth, innovation, and then impact. So let me just recap. A strong VMV, which is the vision, the mission, and values framework, is the foundation for any successful business. Your vision then defines your long-term aspirations. Your mission helps you clarify your purpose. Then your values establish your core principles that you need to have. By aligning all of these things helps you do what? State clearly what your strategic decisions will be. It will attract the right employees, the right employees. And then your customers, it would then ensure that you make the right decisions in the larger scheme of things, that it matches your goals that you're going for. So it's not just a statement, but it's a roadmap for sustainable growth, innovation, and impact. So these are, with that said, these are my details, but like I said, I am going to stop sharing and then ask you what your values were. So I will start with Edgar first. Tell me what your 3 values were.
These are supposed to be one word, right?
Yes.
Okay, these I'm not sure these are perfect, but artistic, enjoyment, and service.
Okay, artistic, enjoyment, and service.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are the values that you're going to stand by. So that means your company being artistic, hence the word creative, right? Artistic
Right.
meaning, in this case, would mean the way in which you display your food, right?
Right.
The way
Right.
in which you take your pictures to show your food. The way in which you use your brand images when it comes to food, you artistically show the food. So then maybe you might show the carrot hanging off a particular strand. You might take a picture where you know, the mayonnaise, somebody might bite into a mayonnaise and the mayonnaise will drip all over their beards, or, you know, whatever the case may be, right? Artistically. You are showing the taste of food artistically, right? And then enjoyment, that means that you would taste your food yourself to make sure that it tastes nice before you give it to somebody to eat. And then when they eat it, they will get joy in their face. They will get joy in eating your food. How are you going to artistically express that joy, right? And then I think the next one you said is what?
My line was breaking, so artistic,
So,
and then was it service?
service, right. So the service here, what would that mean? So the service could be the way in which you encounter the person, the way in which you render your interactions with the person, right? It could be a friendly service. It could be a personal service. It could be an intimate service. It could be a point where for them to artistically enjoy the food, you need to give them a service by going to their homes. Let's say, you know, sometimes you have like personal service where the chef will come to your house to cook for you, right? So it could be that bespoke service that you give people. If you're not giving me that service, if you're not giving me that bespoke and personal service, you're not living up to your company values. See, so imagine if I come to your website or your app, I order a food, and then when it's delivered to me, I would say the burger will look like something was shipped from all the way from Tamale to Accra, right? It will be sweaty. It will be, you know, the cheese are melted. And then not only that, we put it in the truck of the SDC car at the bottom. So then all the, your friend is saying, all the luggage and everything else was put on top of it. So it's squashed and, you know, it will look flat, right? So your burger will literally look like the top of my head, like that. Right? Like squeeze flat. That is not artistic. How am I going to enjoy it? And what kind of service do you guys give me? So in this particular instant, you've not lived up to your value, your company values at all. Because artistically, it's not nice. Oh, presentation is right. I will not enjoy it. And the service was bad. So imagine after I got the food and I call you people and I'm like, oh, you know, food angels, I received my burger and it was squashed. And then your customer service person says, Didn't you receive your burger? Why are you crying? What kind of service is that? You see what I mean? What kind of service is that? That ain't a good service.
Yeah, sure.
So you're not living up to the company values. See, so remember, that's what you stand for. That's what you're going to rise and fall by. See, so remember that when you are talking to your staff, that if it's service, this is what we mean by service. So you have to educate your staff on what your values are, what do they mean, and how you intend to achieve it. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And Belinda, what values systems do you have?
My values. The first one is flexibility. We would want to be committed to give our customers a personalized experience. I believe some of them would not just want you to would not just want you to get them the groceries, but they would want you to put them in a certain form. For example, say blend my tomatoes for me, cut my onions for me, slice them, and all that. So we are open to their requests. We are not fixated that we only give groceries and it ends there. We are open to so the flexibility is one of the values. And then the second one will be freshness and quality.
Okay.
We will be committed to give them the freshest and with high quality produce to our customers. So you would want to be noted for that. And then the third one will be customer satisfaction. Like we would want to put the customer first in delivering our service to them. Yes.
And thank you for saying that. And I like the fact that you explained the flexibility part, because again, if let's say I'm a working person, I work in the corporate world, and you deliver food, I order food from you, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be at home at 9 o'clock. I will be at home at 8 o'clock at night. Usually that's when I get home. Then you tell me, but my store, we close around that time. We can't be bothered. You're not giving me a flexible delivery time for me to choose when it suits me, right? So you need to be flexible. Or it could be either I can come and pick it up from you, or you can drop it off a particular location for me to pick it up, right? Or you offer me flexible delivery options. So if I'm not going to be at home at 9 o'clock, can you leave it with my neighbor? That's flexible, right? You're flexible in how you work. You can either drop it at my office or drop it at my home, or you change the times in which you do your delivery so that it fits what it is that I want to do. And then being fresh and quality, again, that means that you probably have to put labels on it to guarantee that freshness. If it's, what do you call it? Good quality. Again, I don't want an apple that looks like it got dragged through the Sahara Desert, because the moment I see the apple, it's all manner, it's dirty and it's, we don't want to see that. It has to be of good quality. And good quality meaning higher grade is coming from a particular farm or an area that is known for good quality apples, because then I'm paying a good price for it. It's fresh and it's good quality, right? You're not giving me, you don't say this is world standard apple and then it will come and it will look like half my fist. And when you bite it, it's just sour. No, none of that. It's just literally quality apple, top-notch apple coming from a particular farm that has the logo or the grading that says that this area or this particular farm gives you good quality apples, standards. So by FDA standards, this apple is good quality, Okay, and then you're talking about customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction, that means that I'm making my customer happy in all shape or forms. So if you make the delivery process flexible for me, if you deliver fresh and good quality goods, I'll be satisfied. And if you delivered it on time, I'll be satisfied. If I have a problem and I call you and you're able to, support and change and help me with the problem, I'll be satisfied. So that's basically how you need to look at it. So yeah, you're right. If you pick flexibility, you pick freshness and quality, and you also pick customer service and satisfaction, everything you do has to align in that fashion. Does that make sense?
Yes, please.
Okay. And last but not least, Emmanuel, what do you have?
My top three will be innovation, that is encouraging creative thinking and new ideas, empowerment, and then collaboration. Those are the top three.
Okay.
Yes.
So innovation here meaning always coming up with the new ideas of doing for those stuff, innovative ways of doing it. It could be virtual, it could be a hybrid, it could be in person. It could be so many different ways of kind of getting your events off the ground. Or when you build the hubs, they have to then be able to then design innovative solutions, right? Then when you look at empowerment here is, again, I will ask you, empowering me to do what? Empower me to make my own decisions. So as a student, you empower a student to make a decision. You empower a student to learn more. You empower a student to innovate.
Yeah, so it's to empower students to start their own business. Yes, and by providing them tools and then, yes, resources that they need.
Right. And then the collaboration is working with other organizations to then collaborate in the interest of your stakeholders, right? So you have to stand by that value system and then work. So you all kind of captured it in your own way and you've done well. So the assignment would be that you can individually send me your mission, vision, values, and goals. If you can send it before Friday, then I will be able to, get you feedback and all of those other things. So that's one of the things that I would do for you. Again, send me your vision, mission, values, and goals so that we can help refine all of that and then send it back to you. So at least you can be, knowing that this is what I see, this is how I do it, this is what I stand by, and this is how I want to achieve things. And this is how I'll know if I've achieved things with my goals. And then we will just take it from there. So, I'll leave the floor open. Do you have any questions, any contributions that you want to make? I welcome any questions, 3 questions, so that we'll make sure that we close early so that everybody will have their evening back. Any questions? Okay, so no questions means everything was clear. What I will do is, like I said, I will get Muddy to get in touch with people online at the moment so that you send your vision, mission, values, and goals to her. And then I'm going to help look at it and then ask you certain questions and guide you in framing it and becoming solid. And then now everywhere you go, that's what you say, that's what you believe in, and that's what you do. So with that said, thank you very much for your evening, sharing time with us this evening. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things, and also for making it interactive. So I'm looking forward to receiving your document and helping you put it together.